Hello again, and welcome to another episode of our English learning podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that's fun, fascinating, and a little confusing for everyone. Dating, more specifically, dating culture in the UK. What's it like to date a Brit? What do people in the UK consider romantic? How do they flirt, go on dates, or even express feelings without sounding too emotional or too serious? Put the kettle on. We're going in. Let's start with the basics. Dating in the UK is often much more informal than people expect. There are no strict rules, no 3-day wait before texting, and no big declarations of love after 1 or 2 dates. In fact, things usually move slowly, carefully, quietly, where in some cultures you might hear, "You're amazing. I've never felt this way before." After one dinner in the UK, you're more likely to hear, "Yeah, that was nice." And believe it or not, that could be a very good sign. So, how do people usually meet in the UK? These days, many meet through dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, or Hinge. But people also meet through friends at university, at work, or simply during a night out. A very common way for romantic relationships to start is by being friends first. Then, slowly, people realize there might be something more. Before anything romantic is said out loud, there's often a lot of joking, teasing, and casual conversation. British people aren't known for direct emotional expressions, so flirting can look very different here. Let's talk about flirting then. British flirting is often based on humor if someone is teasing you, gently making fun of you, or using sarcasm. It might actually be flirting. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it just sounds like banter between friends. Someone might say, "Nice shoes. Did your nan pick them out?" It might sound a bit rude, but with the right tone and smile, that's actually a compliment in disguise. Flirting in the UK is very low-key. No big compliments, no dramatic lines, just subtle humor and a lot of awkward charm. Let's say things are going well and it's time for the first date. In the UK, first dates are usually very casual. A drink at the pub, a walk in the park, a coffee in a cafe, or maybe a pint and chips somewhere local. There's usually no need to dress up too much or plan something fancy. In fact, if you try too hard, it can feel uncomfortable or even too serious. The idea is just to talk, laugh a bit, and see if there's a connection. Something simple and easy. And about money, splitting the bill is very normal in the UK. Some people might offer to pay, but it's not expected. Especially on a first date, most people just split it and move on. There's also some dating vocabulary that's common in everyday speech. If someone says they fancy someone, that means they find them attractive or like them romantically. You might hear, "He really fancies her," or "Do you think she fancies me?" When someone says they're seeing someone, it usually means they're dating, not officially together, but going on dates. When people say they're going out, that usually means they're in a relationship. And then there's a classic British phrase. It's a bit of a thing. That's when something romantic is happening, but it's not clearly defined. It's vague on purpose. No one wants to rush the labels. British people are famously reserved. That doesn't mean they don't feel strong emotions. They just often don't say them out loud very quickly. So instead of, I love spending time with you, you might hear, you're all right, you are, or not bad company, I suppose. These sound like jokes, but they're actually small signs of affection. If someone does say something more serious like, I really like you, it usually means they've thought about it for a while. Brits don't tend to throw big emotional phrases around. When they do, it's honest. Now let's look at a few more British dating behaviors that might surprise you. Ghosting still happens sometimes. While it's not seen as polite, some people might just stop replying instead of saying they're not interested. It's not ideal, but it does happen usually in the early stages before anything serious develops. Texting isn't always fast or frequent. Don't worry if someone takes a few hours or even a full day to reply. Brits don't tend to text nonstop, and long gaps between messages can be completely normal. In fact, too many messages might even feel a bit intense to some people. Compliments tend to be subtle and often wrapped in humor. Instead of saying something direct like you look beautiful, someone might say you scrub up well or not bad for a Tuesday. It might sound like a joke, but that's how affection is often shown, like teasing and understated. Physical affection also tends to take time. Holding hands or showing affection in public isn't always immediate, especially for people who are more private or shy. Once trust is built, though, that warmth comes through gust in quieter ways, and British people are often very polite when ending things, too. Instead of saying, I'm not into you, they might say something like, I'm not really in the right place for a relationship right now. It's soft, indirect, and designed to avoid hurting feelings. Again, this is all about that typical British desire to be kind even in awkward moments. When it comes to gender roles, dating in the UK tends to be fairly equal. There isn't a strong expectation for one person to lead the whole process. Anyone can ask anyone out, and both people usually contribute to planning, paying, and keeping the conversation going. That said, traditional gestures like bringing flowers or offering to pay are still appreciated if done with kindness and not pressure. So let's imagine things are going well. You've been on a few dates. You're now officially going out. Relationships in the UK are often private. People don't always post lots of photos online or talk about their partner constantly. Instead, relationships are more about small, everyday things, watching a film together, ordering a takeaway, sharing in-jokes, or just spending time quietly. Romance tends to be gentle. Maybe someone brings you tea in the morning. Maybe they remember how you take your coffee. These little things matter more than dramatic statements. Even saying I love you usually takes time. It's not something people say early or often, but when they do say it, it means a lot. Of course, every person is different. Dating in London might be fast-paced and modern, while dating in a small village could be slower and more traditional. Older generations might prefer face-to-face meetings. Younger people often use dating apps, but in general, you'll notice the same themes. Subtle humor, modesty, politeness, and a slow build of connection. So, how can you feel confident dating someone, British or dating, while living in the UK? Be yourself, but stay modest. British people appreciate humility. Confidence is good, but not arrogant. Try to be lighthearted. Jokes go a long way. If you can make someone laugh even a little, you're already making progress. take your time. There's no need to rush things. Let connections grow naturally, and don't panic if things feel a little awkward. That's often just part of the charm. Here are a few phrases you might hear or want to use. Once you feel comfortable, want to grab a drink sometime, is a very normal, casual way to ask someone out. You're a good laugh is one of the nicest things you can say to someone. It means you enjoy their company. I'm quite fond of you. Sounds old-fashioned, but it's still used. It's gentle and sweet. And of course, the classic British date night invitation. Fancy a takeaway and a film. So, there you have it. Dating culture in the UK, it's a little awkward, a little funny, and very, very British. But it's also warm, real, and full of charm gists. Like the people, thanks for joining me today. Whether you're just curious or looking for love in Britain, I hope this gave you a clearer picture and maybe even made you smile. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay curious, and maybe text that person back. Cheers.